Here with head coach Anna Nimz as the Demons finally playing at home. It's been a long time on the road. I know we had that game last Thursday here, or 2 Thursdays ago, whenever it was. Anyway, we've been on the road a lot, and it's good to be home for 2 this week and finishing out this season at home majority of the time. And Coach, before we talk about that, these big games this weekend, these past 4-game winning streak. What's been the key? What's been the driving force to this run that we're on right now?
Well, first off, I mean, obviously our defense it's top in the Southland, it's top in the nation in different categories. So I think we really hang our hat on our defense and our discipline and following scouts. But obviously, I think it's just collective team wins. I think everybody's really settling into their role and knowing that, you know, maybe you guard the best player on the other team, but we need 6 from you, or maybe we need 15 from you, and you guard whoever, and we got to have you in your gap. And I just collectively, I think everybody's really falling into their role and getting better in their role every single game. And obviously, I'd be remiss if, I didn't mention Maya. And obviously, we've had a lot of heavy hitters. McNeese game was a complete team win, but Maya obviously having 32 versus a very tough Nichols team, that obviously helps.
Yeah. You mentioned people finding their roles, and you just said it never seemed more obvious than that McNeese game, where it seemed like everybody played, everybody scored, everybody contributed, which is, I know, what you exactly want to see, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, and we've got to continue to find minutes, right, from kids off the bench. We got to continue to find minutes. But we have to have a big belief in them on the defensive end. I think we have more firepower sitting on the bench, and I think it can be very, very beneficial to us. But again, we really hang our hat on that defense, so we got to be able to guard our yard. You can't go in and score 3 and give up 6, and so it's just continuing to drive that point home. But again, with McNeese, that was kind of one of those first games where we were able to see it on both sides of the court. I think everybody that came in did a tremendous job, and we kind of had talked to our starters about that. We've got to continue to buy minutes here and there, and I think that's what some of the more successful teams in our conference are able to do, is maybe playing to their bench a little bit more. And I believe in our bench. We got a big one, and I believe in it. It's just getting them enough reps so that we feel comfortable with it, on game day.
Yeah, 41 points. That was pretty good outing on Saturday. Bigger picture as we move into this week, like I said, 2 home games this week. I believe we close out with 5 out of 6, 5 out of 7 games at home. How big is that after the long stretches on the road, getting those wins to be able to finish out at home in front of a home crowd? I
mean, and that's the biggest thing is we need a home crowd. We need people in Natchitoches to come out and support this group. I think, we have our true blue followers, but we're going to need some more people to recognize the runs. We got some special kids. Everybody's special, but, got some kids that are really lighting it up, and that's fun for people to watch. So we've got to have a good following from the town. The girls are winning. They're doing their part. And now everybody needs, all of us need to do our part in supporting them and helping bring home some home wins and protect Prather. Obviously, it's always awesome if you can finish 5 of 7 at home. That puts you in a good position to try to make a run down the stretch, heading into the tournament, saying prayerfully that we're going to hold tight and make that. But it's going to take a collective effort from everybody. I think the girls are holding up their end of the job, again, like I said, but it's time for everybody else to get out and support them and show them that some real love.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about, we won't talk a lot about Saturday because I know we're all focused in on Thursday night, a big one against Lamar. It feels like after that first matchup, it kind of starts at how do we slow down Acacia Davis around the basket? Right.
I mean, she had a solid double-double, not just a little double-double. I think she had 21 and 18. So, the young lady is phenomenal. She's a very, very great post player. And Lamar does a nice job of feeding the hot hand in that regard. But I think the biggest thing is she's going to get her points, is not letting her give above her average. But I think what we have to definitely fix is allowing her to have 18 rebounds. We got to keep her off the glass. If you do your job and she misses number 1, then we got to get two people on her. So we've got to secure the rebound, do a better job there. Obviously played them incredibly tight at home, shot the ball well, got loose with the ball down the stretch, and kind of let it slip away. So again, being on our home court, got to correct the things that we let go, and focus in. I think we did a nice job on a lot of other big players. But 21 and 18, that's hard to combat.
You mentioned the start we got off to at that game down in Beaumont. That first half, they struggled to combat Maya. They did a little bit better job of it in the second half, but she able to do Maya things. Offensively, what is the key? What are the factors that gonna lead us to success on that end?
I think we have to have everybody doing their job, do their role. If that's getting 6 and 8, then that's getting 6 and 8. If it's getting 20, it's getting 20. If it's guarding the best player, then it's guarding the best player, and maybe you get 2. But I think we have to have our 3 heavy hitters all connecting, and everybody else. Our transition game's got to be better. We've got to connect more on some 2-foot shots. Our second chance opportunities, we've got to connect, not necessarily always pass it out for the long ball, but catch it right there, chin and check, and then power it back up. But it's going to be imperative to get the buckets that we create, right? Get the buckets that the defense gives us. But everybody's got to do their job, and without going into detail what everybody's roles are, those girls know their roles, and it's going to take a collective effort, 1 through 16, to get this job done.
Big stretch of games starts on Thursday night. Obviously battling for seedings and that sort of stuff as we get towards the end of the year. What's the message to the team that these games are every time they get a little bit bigger, a little bit more intense, a little bit more focus required, especially late in games? What is your message to the team on that regard? I
mean, we're definitely not talking about seedings. We're not talking about anything except for the very next game. But what we've understood, especially since our last SFA game, that if you want something, you're going to have to go take it. And it doesn't matter how many people you got to fight for it. It's us against the world. And so, whereas I think the girls have earned some respect, I still think we got to go take that. Because nothing's going to be given, and every game in the Southland is going to be a dogfight. And against, obviously, these top-tier teams, it's going to be an even bigger dogfight.
Coach, thanks so much.
Welcome.